Morning, dear students. Uh, in the last lecture, we have seen the working of single phase half control converter for R load, then for RL load, and with a freewheeling diode. Okay. So I think uh, one of students from your class has already explained the working in the last lecture. So that is the converter. I think we have seen a full wave controlled rectifier or converter for R load even in the last lecture with the four SCRs. Right? So this is the single phase full wave controlled converter. It's a full wave control converter. So we are using here four SCRs. So two SCR conducts at a time, T1 and T2, and similarly T3 and T4. Okay. So during the positive half cycle, I think I have already explained this one, but I'll repeat for those who are maybe absent in the last lecture. So we have given the name called as A terminal and terminal B, right? And we have explained the circuit with the help of positive and negative half cycle. Dear student, every time you have to explain the circuit with the help of input voltage, right? So in electronics, you have to turn on the power supply or maybe a input voltage or a DC voltage and so on. So in this circuit, during for explanation, the construction in which the four SCRs are used, which are connected in a brief, one load resistor is connected. For simplicity, the protection circuits and a triggering circuit, gate triggering circuits are not shown in a figure. But gate triggering is always there. Without triggering circuit, your device will never conduct. Okay. So second one, that is protection circuits are also not shown here for simplicity. Uh, so protection circuits and triggering circuit is always there, but which is not shown here. Right? The load resistor, that is a resistive load only. So for explanation, you can write a name, okay, like A and B here, so that uh, it is very easy to explain, right? So we'll start the explanation. So first case during positive half cycle. So during positive half cycle, A is positive with respect to B, right? So A is positive, it means that the thyristor T1 is in forward bias condition, right? Thyristor T1 is forward bias condition because the A is positive, right? Then this negative terminal connected to the thyristor T3 as well as T2 and positive connected to the anode of T1 as well as cathode of T4, right? So if A is positive, then thyristor T1 is in forward bias condition, T4 is in reverse bias condition because you're connecting positive to the anode. Okay. So this positive voltage make this T1 forward bias and make T4 reverse bias. Okay. Then similarly, this negative voltage, that is the B is a negative with respect to A. So this B is applied to the two resistors T3 as well as T2. So this B is negative. So T3 is a reverse bias condition, but T2 is in forward bias condition because you are applying negative to the cathode. It means that this thyristor is in forward bias condition, right? So condition T1 and T2 both are in forward bias, T3 and T4 is in a reverse bias. Until and unless you are applying triggering pulse to the T1 and T2. You have to apply triggering pulse to the T1 and T2 at the same time. Okay. So your device may turns on. So triggering pulse applied to the T1 and T2 is the same triggering pulse. Okay. Same triggering pulse applied to the T1 and T2 uh, simultaneously. So what happens? The input voltage, that is positive. So as soon as you trigger the SCR T1 and T2, your current start to flow from VS A, then thyristor T1, then I0 flows. See the current direction. Okay, we can give the name here X and Y. These are the notations we are using here. So X is a positive, then current flows through R, then Y. Now T2 is already followed by, so T2 and then B back to the supply voltage. So that time you will get a output waveform. Again, it depends upon your alpha, right? So this is the alpha. So during this time period, SCR is in off state, and during this time period, SCR is in on state. So this on state time is called a conduction angle beta, and when SCR is off, that time is called as a alpha. So T1 and T2. See this alpha you can change by changing the triggering pulses or time of triggering pulses. So output is depends upon alpha. You can make even alpha this one or this one. So only this part will be available across the load, right? As soon as the negative input voltage is applied, right? As soon as the negative voltage is applied, what happens? The A is a negative, right? So A is a negative as with respect to B, right? So A is negative, I'll just draw here, and B is a positive. As soon as A is positive, negative, the thyristor T1 immediately reverse bias due to natural commutation. This is called natural commutation because you are applying negative voltage at the anode of a thyristor T1 and positive voltage to the cathode of thyristor T2. So thyristor T1 and T2 both turns off immediately as soon as you apply negative half cycle, right? Now this negative half cycle makes T4 and T3 forward bias. How? Because the B is positive, so this positive is applied to the T3 as well as T2, but the T2 is in reverse bias, but T3 due to this B positive, T3 is forward bias, right? And due to this A negative, T4 is also forward bias, right? The A terminal is negative, so T4 is forward bias, and because of this B terminal is positive, T3 is also forward bias, right? So T3 and T4 both are forward bias condition. You can say forward blocking condition, and T1 and T2 is in off state, right? As soon as you trigger the T3 and T4 by applying a proper triggering pulses, immediately T3 and T4 turns on, and then your current start to flow from V, or you can say Vs, then V, then thyristor T3, right? Then X, then C, the current direction. For during negative half cycle, the current direction is same, right? So through R, then Y, then T4, and then A, and back to the previous. Okay. So both times you will get a positive half cycle. Again, it depends upon your alpha, whatever the alpha is. So this is called beta conduction angle. Okay. So both time the current flow from X to Y. The direction of current is from X towards Y. So current direction is same, so that you will get a same positive half cycle. Even your input cycle is negative, or during negative half cycle you will get a same positive half cycle. Why? Because the current flow through the resistor R having the same direction. So voltage develop across resistor R having polarity positive upper and lower negative, and that's why you are getting a same positive half cycle. See this waveform. This is the output voltage waveform when T1 and T2 is on, right? After alpha, T1, T2 trigger, it remains on up to the pi, right? After that, at pi, because of natural commutation, T1, T2 turns off, and even T3 and T4 is also off, but they are in a forward blocking state. As soon as you apply the triggering pulse, T3 and T4 turns on, and then you will get a load voltage like this. So if you see that the input cycle is positive, output is positive, and when input cycle is negative, then also your output is positive, right? Output voltage is positive because the current flow through the resistor having the same direction, and that's why you will get the same positive half cycle up to the 2 pi. After 2 pi, 2, 2 pi plus alpha, all 4 SCRs are off. But T1 and T2 is in forward blocking state, and T3 and T4 is in reverse bias condition, right? As soon as you apply triggering pulse, again your thyristor T1 and T2 turns on and load current flows through the resistor RL, right? So this waveform shows the load current. The fourth waveform, which is shown here, the voltage across thyristor T1 and T2, right? So during positive half cycle of input voltage, this much voltage is appear across the thyristor T1 and T2 because at alpha T1, T2 conducts. Once they conduct, the voltage across thyristor T1 and T2 is ideally zero, practically 1 volt. That is called as the on state voltage drop. Okay, so during maybe from alpha to pi, the voltage across T1 and T2 is ideally zero, practically 1 volt. But at the same time, if you see here, during the whole entire negative half cycle, the voltage across thyristor T1 and T4 is a negative one or negative voltage, right? Again, at pi, the SCR T1, T2 turns off, so voltage appear across T1, T2 is a complete negative half cycle, and the voltage across T3 and T4, that is equal to the voltage up to the pi plus alpha, right? As soon as your alpha or triggering pulse is applied, SCR turns on. After that, the voltage across T3 and T4 is also ideally zero, but practically 1 volt. That is called as the on state voltage drop. So cycle may be regular. Okay. So this is about the output waveform of this single phase full wave controlled rectifier. Okay. I just want to show you the output equation because that I have not taken previously because first we should know the working, then we will go for the output equation. So this is the first single phase half controlled converter, right? No, that time when I explained this circuit, that time I told you the output voltage is depends upon the alpha, right? So average output voltage is depends upon alpha, that is shown here in a equation, right? So if alpha is greater than equal to omega t and less than equal to pi, because SCR is conducting during only positive half cycle, right? So that time V0 equal to under root of 2 vi sine omega t, right? And this sine omega t, that is your alpha. So I0 equal to V0 by R, right? So that is root 2 vi by R sine omega t. So this is the load current and this is the load voltage. Okay. Then average voltage is find out with the help of integration. So 1 upon 2 pi, 0 to 2 pi, that is integration limit 0 to pi, V0 d omega t, right? So that is V0 d omega t is the root 2 vi sine omega t. If you put it to the integration, you will get a final equation that is called as the V0 average equal to Vi under root of divided by root 2 pi 1 plus cos alpha. I want to just mention you that the average output voltage is depends upon alpha, right? So as your alpha increases, the average voltage decreases, right? This is most important. In this equation, if you see the alpha increases, then you just put the value of alpha equal to 0 here, right? So cos 0 equal to 1. So 1 plus 1, 2. So output voltage is that time the maximum. Okay, that is the twice Vi divided by root 2 by pi. Okay, but if your alpha is something different value, that is maybe greater than 0, so definitely the average voltage is lower value, right? So as your alpha increases, right? If alpha increases, then I'm telling average voltage, right? So average voltage that you cannot find with the help of this one, right? So average voltage that you have to find out with the help of this equation Vi, that is the input voltage. So whatever the peak voltage Vm, This VM nothing but the VM. So VM divided by root 2 pi 1 plus cos alpha. So as you put the alpha equal to 30, 40, 50, 60, even you can put the alpha equal to 0. So if I call VM equal to 10 volt initially, just for a consideration, VM equal to 10 volt, and you put the value of 10 here divided by under root of 2 pi in bracket 1 plus cos alpha, right? Now, in this equation, put the Vi equal to 10 and alpha equal to 0 and calculate the output voltage that is called average voltage, right? Then put the alpha equal to 10, 20, 30, 40, whatever the V average that you have to find for alpha equal to 0 is definitely the max, right? As you increase the alpha, the output of voltage, average voltage decreases. You can directly measure average voltage with the help of multimeter, right? But theoretically, if you want to find out, then you should put the value of Vm, that is the input voltage, peak input voltage, right? And then alpha, the value of alpha. If alpha is equal to 0, that time the VO average is max, right? And if you increase the alpha, the VO average decreases. That you can try at home. You can take any value of Vm and then put the value of alpha equal to 0 once, then put the alpha equal to 30, then 60, and so on. Right? So you will get as your alpha increases, the VO average decreases. Right? This is a VO RMS equation. I will share this PPT with you. Right? So the same VO average, that is under root of this complete term. So you will get the VORMS, that is equal to pi in bracket 1 minus alpha by pi plus sine 2a divided by 2 pi raised to the half divided by 1 plus cos alpha. So this is actually RMS voltage. This is actually RMS voltage, VORMS, right? So VI, that is again the input voltage, VM, or you can say VI. So that voltage divided by root 2, 1 plus alpha divided by pi plus sine 2a by 2 pi, and it raised to the half. That is a basically under. Okay? So this is the RMS voltage for this particular half single half controlled converter. Okay? So the equations for remaining I'll share you with this PPTs, but the actual working of these circuits that we will see first, and then we will discuss for the average voltage and RMS voltage. So this circuit already I have explained you. Now with RL load, okay. So what happens with RL load? Again, I'll just give notation here, A, and this is called B. Okay. So working again, we are explaining with the help of positive half cycle start. So during positive half cycle, A is positive, B is negative, everything is same, but just little bit change. The inductor or inductive load store the energy. That we have to see here, and because of that, the SCRs are remains on during negative half cycle. That we have to learn. Okay. So during positive half cycle, as already we have seen, T1 and T2 is in forward bias condition, or you can say forward blocking state, and T3 and T4, which are in a reverse bias condition, right? So currents, as soon as triggering pulse applied to the T1 and T2, current start to flow to T1. Then again, I'll just give the sign or name X terminal, and this is the Y terminal. Okay. So current flows from Vs, then A resistor T1 to the X, then L, right? See the current direction, that is from X towards Y. So this time the inductor starts to store the energy, and the polarity of that store energy as shown in figure. Upper terminal is positive with respect to lower terminal, right? So current still flows through the R, then Y, then T2 back to the B, and then Vs, right? What happens exactly during positive half cycle? This happens, right? As soon as your triggering pulse applied, SCR T1 and T2 turns on, right? Up to the pi, this is okay. It is very similar to the previous one. But what happens at pi, the supply get reversed. See here, at pi, the supply get reversed. So A is negative. Supply get reverse, it means A is negative and B is positive, right? So if A is negative because of supply, A is negative and B is positive. During negative half cycle, the A is positive with respect to B. So A is negative, it means that T1 should be turned off immediately, right? As soon as T2 should be turned off by natural commutation. But what happens as soon as your supply get reversed, the polarity of a stored charge across inductor gets changed. So upper terminal is negative and lower terminal is positive, right? So polarity of a stored charge, it stores the charge in its magnetic field. So that stored charge, that is a voltage, gets reverse its polarity, right? Now this voltage, whatever the inductor stored in voltage, that voltage inductor start to release, right? So inductor start to release the voltage. So L, R, because lower terminal is positive, so current flows in this direction. R, then Y, then it continuously on T2, then P, then Vs, then A, aristor T1, back to the X, and then again L, right? This is the flow of current, and because of that, the thyristor T1 and T2 remains on. Why? Because inductive load store the energy, right? And when it start to release the energy, this energy is delivered through T2, then B, Vs, A, T1, and back to the L. So that the during negative half cycle, the thyristor T1 and T2 remains on, right? Up to the pi plus alpha, right? Again, as soon as you turn on T3 and T4, right? Because of A is negative, B is positive, the thyristor T3 and T4 is in forward bias condition. As soon as you apply the triggering pulse to T3 and T4, what happens? The B is positive, A is negative, so current start to flow from B, T3, right? And it will reach to the X. Because of that, the terminal X is positive, so that the thyristor T1 turns off. Thyristor T1 turns off and current flows through X to L inductor. Again, inductor start to store the energy. Again, upper terminal is positive and negative terminal is negative. When you turn on the thyristor T3 and T4, only after that T1, T2 turns off, right? So due to turn on of T3 and T4, T1, T2 turns off. Once T1, T2 turns off, then current, again current start to flow from X to Y, and again inductor start to store the energy. When it start to store the energy, the upper terminal is positive with respect to lower terminal, right? So again inductor start to energy. So this is shown here in a next half cycle, right? Again at 2 pi, again at 2 pi, the T3, T4 should be turns off by natural commutation, right? Because that time again A is positive and B is negative. So by natural commutation, T3, T4 should be turns off, but due to inductive load, again the polarity of a stored charge get reversed, and this current is continuously flow to T4, Vs, then load, right? T4, then A, then B, then T3. I'll just explain you. Okay. Okay. So again, A is positive with respect to B, right? During the next positive half cycle, A is positive with respect to B. But what happens? The polarity stored across inductor get reversed, and that current start to flow through R, Y, right? Then T4, then A, then Vs, back to the B, then T3, and again to the inductor, right? So this happens during the negative half cycle. That's why you will get a this part of cycle. Okay. So with inductive load, the some energy is fed from load to supply. So this operation is called as the inverting operation. That is pi to pi plus alpha or 2 pi to 2 pi plus alpha. During this particular period, the SCRs are working in a negative half cycle. So that time the load will feed the power from load to supply. So that operation is called as an inverting operation. Okay. So this is about the single phase full wave controlled converter with the inductive load. Right. Now working is given for your reference. Now with a freewheeling diode. Okay. So again the same terminal A is positive initially with respect to B. Here it's a terminal called X and terminal called Y. Okay. For simplicity, I'll just add here. So again, the working is same. In this circuit, again 4 SCRs are used. Additional diode called as a freewheeling diode. It is very similar or maybe a simple diode, simple PN junction diode, right? So this PN junction diode is connected in a reverse bias, right, to your supply, but parallel to the load, right? So what happens? Whatever the load or maybe a power feed from load to supply during uh, alpha, sorry, pi to pi plus alpha and 2 pi to 2 pi plus alpha, that power is feed from load to supply. If we want to avoid that, then we should connect a freewheeling type, right? So that the advantage of inductive load is the current is continuous. See, you can see here the load current is continuous. This is third waveform in which the load current is continuous, right? That is the advantage of inductive load. But with inductive load, the energy is feedback from load to supply. If you want to avoid this, then definitely we should connect one freewheeling diode. This diode, it is simply called the name of diode. Freewheeling diode is not the type of diode. It is a simple PN junction diode, but it freewheels the energy that is stored across the inductor in a particular loop. And that's why it is called as a freewheeling diode, right? So it is not a different kind of diode like LED or photodiode. It is a simple PN junction diode, ordinary diode, right? So it is called freewheeling or freewheel because whatever energy is stored across inductor, it will free move or free wheels in this particular loop only, and that's why it's called as a freewheeling diode. Nothing else uh, behind the name of diode. The diode is the same. That is, freewheeling diode is not a separate or something a different diode, right? So again, the working is very similar. Here is the T1, T2, T3, T4. So T1 and T2 conducts at a time, T3, T4 conduct at a time, right? So during positive half cycle, when A is positive with respect to B, T1 and T2 is in forward blocking state, and T3 and T4 is in a reverse bias condition, right? So current start to flow from A thyristor T1. This current start to flow when triggering pulse is applied. If you are not applying triggering pulse, T1, T2 will never conduct. T3, T4 is already reverse bias, and T1, T2 is also in off state if you are not applying gate pulse. This should be remembered. If you are applying gate pulse, only that time the SCR T1 and T2 conduct, right? So we assume that the triggering pulse is applied and current start to flow from A, thyristor T1, then X, then R, now L. Current direction is from X to Y, and now inductor start to store the energy, right? So inductor start to store the energy. Upper terminal is positive, lower terminal is negative. This current continuously flow from Y to the T2 back to the B, right? So you will get a positive half cycle after alpha, whatever the part. Okay, that is the conduction angle, conduction part, right? Now, whenever the supply get reverse, A is a negative. A is negative, B is positive. When A is negative, thyristor T1 should be turned off by natural commutation. Similarly, T2 should be turned off by natural commutation. And this time T3 and T4 both are in forward blocking state. What is meaning of forward blocking state? The SCR is in forward bias condition but never turns on because the triggering pulses are not applied. So that condition is called forward blocking state. Okay. So T3 and T4 in a forward blocking state, T1, T2 is in a reverse bias condition. But what happens? The inductor, whenever supply get reversed, the stored charge across inductor changes its polarity. The downward Y is positive with respect to X, and then inductor start to release the energy, right? So this energy may be released through T2, right? But what happens? The diode is used whose forward voltage is less than T2. The thyristor required minimum voltage to turn on or on-state voltage drop is equal to 1 ohm, right? But diode turns on after 0.7. So immediately, whenever the inductor start to release the energy, this diode turns on and the whole current flows through the diode, the previewing diode, and then X, then R, again back to L, then Y, again previewing diode, X, R, inductor, and so on. So your current prevails, right? So current definitely flows through the R, right? So that's why current is constant. See, the current is constant because current is continuously flowing through the load. But T1 and T2 immediately turns off as soon as your supply gets reversed, right? So you can see here the T1, T2 turns off at pi exactly, right? And T3, T4 turns on when you apply the triggering pulse, that is equal to pi plus alpha. So T3 and T4 turns on, then again T1, T2 turns on, T3, T4 turns on, and so on, right? These are the voltage across thyristor. The current is constant, right? Current is constant, it means if you are using DC motor, so DC motor is continuously on, right? If you are not applying triggering pulse, but still the DC motor is on. Now, if you are applying triggering pulse somewhat late, then definitely the current is less, so the speed of motor is less. You can control the speed of motor by controlling the firing angle, but the current is continuous, so load whatever DC motor or any other load is continuously on. Okay, so just simply to avoid to feed the power from load to supply, we use the freewheeling diode so that what happens, the current is continuously flowing, right? And even SCR T1 and T2 immediately turns off as soon as the supply gate reversed. Okay, that is the advantage of this circuit by connecting freewheeling diode. The working is given here for your reference. You can read that what is the use of freewheeling diode and so on. Right? So next part is single phase full wave, sorry, single phase full wave half control. Single phase full wave but half control, right? So initially first one is also single phase half control converter, and this is also half control converter. Now if you see the circuit diagram in which we are using two SCRs in the same arm and two diodes in the same arm, so you can call this is as a symmetric semi converter. This is called as a symmetrical or symmetric semi-converter. Another type of semi-converter is asymmetric. If you see here, the both upper two are SCRs and lower two are diodes. So this is called asymmetric semi-converter. These are the two types of these semi-converters. This one is symmetric, in which the SCRs are connected in one arm and diodes are connected in one arm. So that is called as a symmetric, right? And this one, the second one is called as a asymmetric. So these are the two type of semi-converters. Half control rectifiers is also called as a semi-converter. Okay, so it has a two types. Okay, it has a two types. One is symmetric, another is asymmetric. Okay, so these are the two types of converters. So we will see first Symmetric. Just a minute. Okay. One more instruction I have to uh, give you. That is today at 3 o'clock. There will be a tutor meeting of T2 batch. T2 batch, which is the old T2 batch. I think you have already given message by Patangre ma'am that the batches, tutor batches are as same like the previous one. There is a no change in a tutor batch. Am I right? Okay. So today we will conduct one tutor meeting at 3 p.m. Everyone should attend the meeting, right? Karan Rane, Pallavi Chavan, Jitesh Kakar, you have not changed your uh, no, name on your Zoom. So everyone should change the name with the roll number first and then name. Okay, so that it is easy to mark your attendance. Otherwise, uh, your attendance will not be marked in a proper way. Okay, so everyone should edit your profile in a Zoom. That the name before name you should write your roll number. Okay, so roll number and then underscore and then name. Someone students have given underscore. Someone is continuously written name and roll number and so on. So it is very difficult to find the roll number those who are present. Okay. In a today's lecture, the attendance that is total, I think only 54 members are present. It means still all students are not attending the lecture. So this is a warning to you because if you see the university has sent a circular, these online class attendance is considered for your detention. Okay, so online attendance is equally important. So everyone should remember and keep in this mind the attendance is compulsory for online lectures. Okay, and even the practical videos. Basically, the size of practical video is large, so we will deposit that videos in our library system. Okay. Okay. So, so everyone, those are in a T2 batch, that is the old T2 batch. So should attend the tutor meeting at 3 o'clock. I will share you the link for the meeting. Maybe the HOD ma'am is also present there in a meeting. So everyone should attend the meeting. Otherwise, definitely the call may be given to your parents because you are not attending the classes even. So that's why the tutor meeting is required. So everyone should attend the tutor meeting, and we will see the semi converters in a next lecture because the time is just 1 minute remaining. So uh, thank you very much for attending the lecture. But still, I'm unhappy because you are not asking anything, whatever your doubts. If you are having any doubts, you can ask. Otherwise, it remains as it is. And yes, student university is also given permission to conduct the online classes, to take the attendance and consider this attendance even. So these lectures are equally important as like your regular lecture. Okay. So thank you all for attending the lecture. I officially end